This is a Bibliomotion audiobook, produced and distributed by Gildan Media in partnership with Bibliomotion. ADD-friendly ways to organize your life. Strategies that work from an acclaimed professional organizer and a renowned ADD clinician. By Judith Kolberg and Kathleen Nadeau, PhD. Read by Marguerite Gavin. We hope you enjoy this program. Preface. This revised version of our original book is long overdue, and we are excited to update our recommendations to include the explosion of digital supports and distractions that now play such a major role in the lives of adults in this 21st century. Sadly, however, our book remains one of the few books that deals directly and exclusively with the challenges faced by adults with ADD, attention deficit disorder. Getting things done, dealing with clutter, developing more functional daily life management habits, learning how to prioritize, and managing time. We've learned so much more about ADD as the years have passed since the first version of this book was published. We've moved away from a concern with hyperactivity and inattention toward a focus on what are called the executive functions of the brain, the cognitive skills we need to plan and execute tasks, to get things done, to meet our goals. Moving away from a focus on hyperactivity, distractibility, and impulsivity, more recent research suggests that executive functions are the primary challenges of adult ADD. ADD is a disorder that affects us to varying degrees throughout our lives. It doesn't go away, but evolves and can look quite different as we grow older. As we move from childhood through adolescence and into adulthood, expectations of us change. Once we are adults, the world expects us to take charge of and manage our lives. And taking charge requires learning all of the executive functioning skills we discuss throughout this book. Our lives are much more complex today than even a half-generation ago. With the advent of the Internet, the world is at our fingertips, for good or for ill. The great challenge for many adults, especially those with ADD, is learning how to manage the instant accessibility of the Internet. News, social media, sexually oriented sites, gambling sites, and countless commercial sites beckon to us, encouraging us to spend time we don't have and money we can't afford. And it's all too easy to succumb. In this new edition, we focus on the Internet black hole and how to manage its seductive lure. The Internet also becomes the source of countless communications and requests. Work for many of us has become a 24/7 enterprise, with supervisors and co-workers expecting instant responses, even after work hours. This information and communication bombardment makes it even more challenging for adults with ADD to stay on track and focus their priorities. Money management has become both easier and more challenging to those with ADD. The boon of the Internet is that now we can conduct our financial lives online and go paperless. In our last edition, we spent a great deal of time focusing on how to manage paper filing, paper bill paying. Now our financial lives can be conducted online, eliminating the need for elaborate filing systems. Records are at our fingertips from our brokers, our bankers, and all of the vendors that we do business with. And yet money management has also become a greater challenge. We can spend money in the unreal environment of the Internet with the click of a button, making it ever more challenging to resist impulsive spending. Another great challenge for those with ADD comes with the ever-increasing choices we are offered. One man lamented the complexity of buying a pair of blue jeans. In the past, he related, he just needed to know his waist size and inseam measurement. Today, the range of choices is so great, the cut, the color, the fabric, and the size, that he finds it an overwhelming task to make what used to be a simple purchase. This man's sense of overwhelm is experienced by all of us as we search online for the goods and services we need. Everywhere we turn, a decision must be made from among increasing choices. and he who hesitates is lost. Procrastination can result in facing a growing mountain of decisions, creeping clutter, and missed deadlines. Even time itself has changed. Everyone agrees that there simply seems to be less of it. The appearance of 24-hour grocery stores and gas stations has eliminated the natural rhythm to the 24-hour cycle. We can eat, shop, fill up the car with gas, or obtain cash at any time of the day or night, during the week or on the weekend. We're forced to either create our own patterns or fall into unplanned chaos. In the world of work, profound changes have occurred and continue to occur that can make work life more challenging for adults with ADD. Many of the hands-on, physical jobs that have always existed in the past have been taken over by machines, leaving an abundance of jobs in the service, communication, and technology fields. Jobs that require less physical activity and more mental concentration, more sustained focus on details, and more information to be classified and organized. Stress is particularly high for women with ADD. Despite the sexual revolution, studies show that women continue to be responsible for more than their share of childcare and household management. Commutes are long as families move further from their jobs to find affordable housing. And children are caught up in the rat race as well, being overscheduled in organized sports and other after-school activities most days of the week. This has led to the gradual demise of the family dinner hour and the increase in fast food meals as parents race from work to children's activities with no time between for meals at home. All of these factors combine, resulting in greater than ever challenges for adults with ADD. This book is focused on helping rushed, stressed, and disorganized adults with ADD learn to prioritize, focus on what's important, and develop daily routines that can reduce the daily chaos. In this book, we, Judith Kolberg, a professional organizer with a great sensitivity to the organizing needs of ADD adults, and Kathleen Nadeau, a nationally recognized authority on adult ADD, join together in addressing the challenges faced by today's adults with ADD in a simple, straightforward fashion. While other books on organizing have been written, none have been focused on the particular challenges and dilemmas of adults with ADD. We hope that readers will find that this book can help them organize their lives, allowing them to spend their time and energy on what's important, rather than floundering in daily disorder. Part 1. Getting Started. Chapter 1. ADD-Friendly Organizing, a Different Organizing Approach. For many adults with ADD, life feels overwhelming and chaotic. Their homes are cluttered, laundry and dishes go undone. Unread newspapers and magazines pile up. Their cars are filled with junk and debris, clothes to take to the cleaners, misplaced athletic shoes, and half-eaten, dried-out fast food. And many spend hundreds of dollars each month on storage units because they can't decide to throw away long unused items. Because decision-making is often difficult for adults with ADD, the default decision is to keep everything. Time rushes by and they don't notice, leading them to miss some events and arrive late to many others. Bills and important paperwork are buried under piles. Their finances are often in overdraft. Charge cards are up to their limits. Frequent late fees are assessed. Tax returns are filed late, often several years late. And when they make an effort to get organized, their clutter seems to magically reappear shortly after it has been cleared away, because they haven't developed the habits required to keep their belongings put away. The skills to manage the demands of daily life, to make plans, and to execute those plans, all come under the term executive functioning skills. In this book, we will teach you many strategies to build and support better executive functioning skills, the skills you need to manage your time, your tasks, and your belongings. If you are an adult with ADD who struggles with organizing the many aspects of your life, this is the book that can put you on a path to finally create order. Other organizing books often aren't helpful because their approaches aren't well designed for people with ADD, who need simple solutions and more structure and support while they implement those solutions. The advice in other organizing books may be too detailed, for example, suggesting a complex paper filing system when most adults with ADD would be thrilled simply to see the surface of their dining room table again. Also, in most other organizing books, there is an assumption that readers will be able to follow the book's suggestions and put their home or office in order without any support from others. Getting started. You've probably tried to get organized many times before. Buying organizing books, day planners, organizing apps, and electronic gadgets, but nothing in the past has worked. You start out with the best intentions, only to find that each new organizing system falls apart very quickly. This doesn't mean that getting organized is a hopeless quest, but it does mean that you need special approaches designed for adults with ADD. That's what this book offers: ADD-friendly ways to organize your life. In this book, you'll find stories about adults with ADD, describing the organizing dilemmas they've encountered and the ADD-friendly approaches that worked for them, and that can work for you as well. How is this book different? It's written by two experts, an expert on ADD, Kathleen Nadeau, PhD, and an expert on organizing, Judith Kolberg. The tips and tools in this book are specifically designed for adults with ADD. Not only is our advice ADD-friendly, but the book's format is ADD-friendly too, with clearly outlined topics, bold headings, readable print, an open-page design, and a reader- or listener-friendly writing style. Dr. Nadeau. Problems with planning and organization are among the biggest challenges for adults with ADD. Planning and organizing challenges can be especially difficult for women with ADD, who are often in charge of organizing not only themselves, but their families as well. Years ago, I began to realize that most organizing tools and training didn't work well for adults with ADD. For example, day-long seminars on time management or organization require people to listen effectively for 6 to 8 hours at a time. Listening for that long is difficult for most, and next to impossible for adults with ADD. Also, typical organizing books and seminars assume that you will be able to put their organizing ideas into action on your own, without structure or support. The Just Do It school of organizing. If it were that simple, adults with ADD would have gotten organized long ago. On top of unrealistic expectations, many organizing approaches suggested in other organizing books are ludicrously inappropriate for adults with ADD. Someone whose garage resembles a landfill, or whose dining room table is permanently covered with piles of papers, isn't likely to benefit from detailed advice on record-keeping or filing systems. Other organizing systems don't take into account the ADD stumbling blocks of inconsistency and forgetfulness. For example, day planners. Yes, even in this digital age, some people find that pencil and paper are more helpful. And digital calendars on laptops, iPads, and smartphones can be helpful for adults with ADD. However, without developing strategies to counteract patterns of inconsistency and forgetfulness, these tools can't be used effectively. To use a planner or digital calendar successfully, you must first learn to use it consistently, to write necessary information about schedules and tasks in the planner on a daily basis, and consult your planner regularly throughout the day. And even those adults with ADD who enter information and consult their planner on a daily basis must also develop strategies to keep their planner with them at all times, and to avoid misplacing or losing it. The standard training seminars on the use of day planners don't even begin to address these typical ADD challenges. After repeated failed efforts to take charge of your life, you may be convinced that the task is impossible. Instead, the problem may lie in the approaches that you've tried. In this book, we'll help you learn to better understand yourself and how you are affected by ADD, so that you can develop successful strategies to manage the organizing tasks of your life. The keys to ADD-friendly organizing success involve strategies, ADD-friendly strategies, of course, support, and structure. We'll come back to these 3 S's again and again throughout the book as we describe ADD-friendly organizing approaches. Judith Kolberg. The difference between the organizing needs of people without ADD and those of people with ADD could not have become more apparent to me than when I began to do organizing work with Olivia. What an education! Olivia is a mini whirlwind, a swirl of dangling purses, bags of groceries, car keys, and odd papers. Always in motion, mainly because she is often late and hurrying, Olivia whirls to answer the phone, spins around to yell out to the children, frees a hand to pet the dog as she simultaneously opens the door. Her desk and dining room table are buried beneath unopened mail, newspapers, and loose papers. I tend to disorganize spontaneously, she explains. It's true. I watch her turn a clear space on the kitchen counter into a clump of clutter in no time at all. I am a good professional organizer. Olivia is a successful career woman. With patience and a can-do attitude, I figure we can organize Olivia's life. But few of the approaches I used with other adults seem to work for Olivia. I try putting her papers in file folders with titles, stacking them neatly in her inbox, but Olivia can't find anything. 2 weeks later, her desk is overflowing again with heaps of papers. I teach her the time-honored, "a place for everything and everything in its place" proverb, as we put things away and try to clear out the clutter. But these approaches are thwarted by her forgetfulness. She leaves her cell phone behind, and the dog's leash is nowhere to be found. We work on her time management skills, and, with my support, Olivia agrees to plan her week in advance. However, her plans deteriorate into a rush of semi-emergencies and unplanned surprises. Eventually, Olivia explained to me that she had attention deficit disorder. At first, I was convinced that even a neurologically based organic disorder like ADD would eventually yield to the logic of standard organizing approaches. What I learned through working with Olivia was that these standard approaches couldn't work for her, and don't work for many others with ADD. Here's what did work. Instead of filing papers in plain old manila file folders assembled into a filing cabinet, we bought a colorful milk crate and stuck casters, wheels on it. Inside, we used multicolored file folders with lettering on the tabs, and instead of using many file folders, her papers were filed into a few simple categories. Everything was easy to see and simple to retrieve. Olivia learned to develop the habit of filing a little every day, instead of letting it accumulate into a big, overwhelming stack. She kept the filing crate underneath the dining room table, so it was an easy transition from piling papers on top of the table to slipping them into a few files in the crate under the table. We liberated the dining room table from the tons of junk mail that had imprisoned it. This was accomplished by turning on some of Olivia's favorite music and teaming her up with a clutter companion. Simply a friend and not a critic, Olivia's clutter companion provided moral support and another set of hands while she kept her on task. To counteract some of her forgetfulness, we had a good time putting up reminder signs in logical spots, such as on the door, on the bathroom mirror, and in the car. And we learned to be more realistic. Maybe Olivia wasn't quite ready to plan an entire week at a time. We planned a day at a time instead, until she got the hang of managing her days more realistically. Then we moved on to planning a week. Many of the approaches suggested in this book were developed through my work with Olivia and others with ADD. They speak directly to the organizing issues people with ADD confront: distractibility, variations in attentiveness, hyperfocus, and stimulation issues. Like Olivia, by learning ADD-friendly approaches, you can organize your life. It just takes a different perspective, one with more creativity, more support and structure, and less self-criticism. Organizing your life is a custom-ordered task. Although all of the strategies we describe are designed with the ADD adult in mind, not every approach suggested in this book will be a good fit for you. As you read this book, select and adapt those approaches that best match your lifestyle and temperament. Start with the most basic and important ADD-friendly organizing concept. Don't fight against your ADD. Work with your ADD to take charge of your life. In the following chapters, we'll teach you ways to do just that. Review. Standard organizing approaches often don't work for adults with ADD. Organizing techniques that work are those that help you compensate for your ADD-related struggles, such as forgetfulness, distractibility, and difficulties with time management. Your best organizing strategy is to work with your ADD instead of fighting against it. The 3 S's, strategies, support, and structure, are the keys to ADD organizing success. Chapter 2. ADD-friendly strategies that work with your ADD. If you're like many adults with ADD, you put getting organized on your list of odious and impossible tasks, like a starvation weight loss regime or a pre-dawn daily exercise plan, something requiring impossible iron will and perseverance. There may be a person in your life who seems to embody all the organizing virtues, early to bed, early to rise, combined with a place for everything and everything in its place. Modeling your behavior after someone who is very controlled, perhaps over-controlled, can rarely work if you're an adult with ADD. Those few adults with ADD that are super-organized, who probably also have some degree of obsessive-compulsive traits, typically consume every waking moment in their organizing efforts. Most adults with ADD should not set their sights on being perfectly organized, but rather on reaching a level of organization that helps them function with more productivity and less stress as they go through each day. Work with your ADD to get organized. Shoulds and oughts rarely motivate adults with ADD in the long run. To stay motivated, you need something that will focus your attention, engage your interest, and stimulate you. If you want to get organized, get focused, engaged, and stimulated. Getting started. Our goal in this book is to teach you how to work with your ADD to take charge of your life. The following are some techniques to get hooked on ADD-friendly organizing. Make it fun. Think it's impossible to have fun while decluttering? Think again. Get the whole family involved. Competition often makes things more interesting. For example, give everyone a 5-minute challenge. Set a timer for 5 minutes. The game is for each player to enter his or her bedroom and spend 5 minutes stuffing items into a bag to throw away or give away. The person who gathers the most appropriate items in a 5-minute period wins the round. We insert the word appropriate because some children may become carried away and indiscriminately stuff items into the bag, including perfectly good items of clothing, game parts, or school supplies. 5 minutes is painless, and this can be a daily event until rooms are cleared out, with a special dessert or other small prize going to each day's winner. To get it done, make it fun. Catch the mood. Adults with ADD can catch a mood and ride it as effortlessly as some surfers catch a wave. Working with your mood often works better for adults with ADD than trying to schedule a task. Being in the mood to organize may catch you by surprise. You may be looking in the back of the closet for your snow boots, and before you know it, you're madly tossing galoshes, mismatched gloves, and old winter jackets out into the hallway. Impulses can lead either to chaos or decluttering, depending upon how you handle them. Chaos ensues if you leave the mess in the hallway, only to later toss it all back pell-mell into the closet. But significant decluttering can take place if you organize yourself just a bit. long enough to grab a throwaway and a giveaway bag. Toss the items inside one or the other and haul the bags to the garage or other storage space, awaiting trash day or pickup days scheduled by your local charity. Organize for reasons that matter to you. Don't try to adopt someone else's organizing values. If being tidy or organized has negative connotations for you, tedious, boring, uptight, perfectionist, motivate yourself by organizing according to your own values. For example, if you value social service, put together coordinated outfits from clothing that you want to discard. Then donate these complete outfits to a local homeless shelter or shelter for victims of domestic abuse. Your cast-offs can be transformed into job interview outfits for women with limited income. With this goal in mind, you're not engaged in tedious tidying. You're making a positive difference in the life of someone less fortunate. If you value creativity, imagine an art project, a collage, a quilt, a sculpture, or a braided rug. Then, just as some artists collect objects at the local dump or collect discarded clothing at a thrift store for their art projects, go around the house with a collection bag, looking for items for future art projects. You've had fun collecting materials and have decluttered your environment at the same time. To get organized, get energized. Many adults with ADD can move from a couch potato state to one of high energy in response to the right kind of stimulation. Think about what stimulates you best. For some, it's physical movement. For others, it's companionship. Singing can make time melt away while you're engaged in uninteresting chores. Lively music is often a good motivator. You may need to create a beehive of activity to get motivated and stay motivated while you organize. Divide the dreadful into micro moments. If the activity is something you truly dread, divide the activity into micro moments. For example, if you detest filing or processing papers, set a low limit for each filing exercise. Decide that each time you enter your office, at home or at work, you will process the first 10 paper items that you happen to pick up. Some you may immediately toss, others you may need to file. Still others require an action such as completing a form or writing a check. If you're lucky enough to grab 10 papers that can be tossed, you'll be done in seconds. Rarely should you need to process papers for more than 10 or 15 minutes if you use this rule. You'll be amazed how quickly the paper chaos melts when you use this micro-moment approach to drudgery. Grab unplanned organizational moments. Organizational moments are times when you take advantage of unplanned opportunities to organize. An example is filing a paid bill and then, while you're at it, flipping through the file folder and throwing out any obsolete junk. Or it might be taking the opportunity to empty out your glove compartment when you're stopped at a traffic signal. Or cleaning out your purse while you search for your nail file buried at the bottom. Think like a restaurant server. Many restaurant servers have ADD tendencies and are attracted to the work because it is active, social, and allows them to maintain their long-established night owl tendencies. Think like a restaurant server when you're in your own environment. A busy restaurant never allows the tables to remain cluttered. Dishes are quickly removed as soon as a menu item is eaten. A server is constantly in the process of decluttering and reorganizing. Have you ever watched a restaurant table cleared and reset? The table is wiped, a new tablecloth put down, and salt, pepper, flour vase, whatever items that belong on the table are instantly reorganized, so that the table looks fresh for the next set of diners. A server learns that creating clutter by serving diners and removing clutter by taking plates away is one integrated process. Clear as soon as you've cluttered. Getting started. When you think like a restaurant server at home, you get into the habit of tidying as you go. Hang up the robe on the hook as you leave your bedroom. Scan each room for cups or glasses as you pass from one room to the next, and automatically take them to the kitchen. So often our clutter gets...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?